As district attorney, one of the hardest things that I do, and unfortunately I do it often, every week I'm talking to a family, a mother, a father, a sister who've lost a loved one to a fentanyl overdose. And it's hard to describe the look in their eyes, but it's like everything that has joy and hope has been pulled out of them because it's irreversible. There is nothing they can do. They can't bring their loved one back. They tell me stories about, their 15-year-old son and how talented he was, what a big heart he had. But then one night they walk into his room and there he is lifeless. And what is found are the remnants, the trail of that fentanyl was responsible. The parents and families I meet, they cross every segment of our community. There are people that you would think won't be touched by it, like police officers and their families, like teachers. But everyone is touched by this fentanyl epidemic. We're working on stopping it on every level. Working on prevention through education because knowledge is power, because fentanyl is not like any other drug we've experienced before. It really is the be-all, end-all of drugs. It's like drugs on steroids. So we're working on preventing through education to the schools, through different social media campaigns that we've done, the Opioid Project and others. But we're also working on saving lives through holding the dealers accountable by making sure that that same dealer doesn't sell that same poison to the next child. So we feel often like we're working against a clock that's moving. We find this person lifeless, and now we have to go back in time, find out who sold them this deadly fentanyl, and stop that supply from reaching and really destroying another family's life. Now, peer pressure is absolutely real and nothing to be underestimated, nothing to be ashamed of. We all feel peer pressure. But the issue with fentanyl is that it is inside something that looks like Percocet, like Oxycontin, like Xanax, Adderall, ecstasy, all the things that kids are not afraid of. But now comes fentanyl, and we know for a fact that the DEA has seized millions of pills. 6 out of 10 have a deadly dose of fentanyl. So you are playing more than Russian roulette when somebody's offering you something that is not, you're not getting from your doctor or pharmacy, even if it looks like exactly like something you got from the pharmacy or doctor. It is not going to be. It is going to have fentanyl in it. So when you look at it as a life or death decision, not just for yourself, but for your friends around you, then hopefully that will overcome the peer pressure. What you need to do is establish a safe word with someone you trust, whether it's your parent, whether it's a sibling, an older sibling, whether it's a friend. Use this safe word by pretending you need to take a call or you just received a text. And that text basically says a different word for orange, or I like apples, for mom, pick me up. The situation is not comfortable. Now for parents, no questions asked. You have to come with the safe word and get your child out of this peer pressure situation, because this is not time for judgment or for second guessing. This is a life-saving moment. Every child has relationships that they trust. Is it a parent? Hopefully it is the parent. But if it isn't the parent, or the parent is not appropriate for that circumstance, then maybe it is a friend that's with you, that you have a power in numbers. So both of you have a pact that you're going to help each other out, and you're going to create an emergency to leave that situation together. It's harder said than done, but the reality is that most kids don't use illicit substances. It's okay to just say no. I'm not into it. I have a game, I have a test in the morning. I've got something my mom needs me to do. I need to drive my car. So it's okay to say no. You're not alone, even though in that moment you may seem or feel like you're the only person in the world that's not using drugs. So it's okay to say no, and maybe just practice that and practice saying it without making the other parties there feel terrible about themselves, but that's your choice and you're comfortable with it. So many kids that we've dealt with their families have purchased what they thought was a Xanax or a Percocet online, on social media, on Snapchat. That person is still a dealer who doesn't care about you. They care about the profits. So just because you're getting it from social media or you're getting it from someone that is your friend does not mean it's safe. No matter what you're told, it isn't safe. Another important thing is there is accountability for selling or sharing illicit substances. If somebody ends up dying, that person could be responsible for murder because fentanyl is a poison. And when you sell poison and a person dies because of it, we have had 7 cases brought on murder charges because of selling fentanyl. It is a very serious deal. So it isn't anything to joke about. Sharing drugs, selling drugs, which will likely contain fentanyl, they bring really high consequences. Now, many of the cases where kids have lost their lives at such a young age, they used fentanyl because they thought they were getting something that's going to help them with the loneliness, with depression, with anxiety they were feeling, the pressures of getting into college, getting good grades, being on a team, all of those pressures coming down. They wanted to take a shortcut to get that Xanax, that anxiety pill, so they can just have a good night's sleep. It turned out to be fentanyl, and it really changed and altered the family path. Their whole life ended, but really their family's life also ended in a way. So what I would advise is talk to someone. If, it's very natural to feel these pressures. Mental health issues, there's no stigma around it. That's the same as having diabetes or having a broken knee or anything else. Just, there is treatment. Seek treatment. Seek different forms that are healthy because we want you to be around and your family wants you to be around. Every loss is personal because I feel like my job is to protect everyone, to protect the most vulnerable. Our team feels that way. We're very connected to our work. It isn't somebody else's problem. We feel like everybody's our family, our extended family. So it does affect us, but I think for me, I feel good if every day we are doing something to save a life. And so as we're in this fight, I feel like it's worth it and that I can still take hope as I see some of the numbers change in the right direction.